looking ready. Keep looking ready. Keep looking ready. We're live now. Should be good. Hopefully you know that one.
Hey, folks. If you can hear me and see me all right on TikTok, I would really appreciate if you could give a thumbs up here to Paul, my producer, so we can make sure that we have all the technology and audio in order here. All right, very good. Thank you so much. We're going to wait on the same thing here on YouTube. All right. So for those of you tuning in through YouTube, if you could please let me know if you can hear me and see me all right. All right. Very good. I got a thumbs up. Empathic Alex.
On the ball as always.
Always on the ball. Welcome. Eileen. Welcome. All right. They're getting the hang of this. We have a drill going here. So we're going to give this a second for a few people to tune in here on TikTok, here on YouTube. And I do want to invite you guys to check out a couple of the upcoming events that we have this week while we wait for people to tune in. So we have Intuitive Tarot class starting this Thursday, the 22nd. This is an 8-week course. You can take it through video download or online with the group through Zoom. Intuitive Tarot is taught by Paul Casey Healing Arts, and it teaches you the traditional method of using the Rider-Waite deck, as well as the intuitive method, which will allow you to stay open to progression into mediumship. Here at the Academy, we are very strict on making sure every student has the opportunity to evolve from using a tool, their psychic ability, into mediumship. And that's really important with tarot, especially because most people who get involved in tarot get stuck. They get trapped using that tool and they can't evolve. They can't move into more mediumistic readings without it. And they don't like that. So we don't want that to happen to you. Check it out. Intuitive Tarot begins this week on Thursday. Registration is now open. We also have Psychic Mediumship course beginning in May on the 17th. Registration opens on the 26th, but if you want to get your foot in the door to reserve yourself a seat, you're going to want to get on the early bird wait list. So go to psychicmediumshipcourse.com. We are filling up really fast. So the Psychic Mediumship course beginning soon. I also want to invite you guys to get your tickets. We are nearly sold out. It is a first come, first serve event. We have our monthly walk-in night 100% virtual psychic fair. For $15, you get 2 readings or 2 healings or reading and a healing. You can mix or match, okay, from the comfort of your own home. That's going to be this Saturday. And that starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. So our monthly walk-in night psychic fairs showcase students and graduates from the Ivy League Psychic Academy. We have pet readings, orograph readings, psychic mediumship, tarot, Reiki, paranormal consultations, you name it, they do it. They're amazing. So yeah, 2 readings for $15. Okay, so you're going to want to go to IvyRiveraPsychicMedium.com or Ivy League Psychic Academy.com for all of this. Do we have a few people tuning in?
Yeah, it's looking good.
All right, very good. So I do want to move on. See where we are here. If I could get everyone on YouTube to please give this video a thumbs up. If you are interested in subscribing, I'll let you know we do 1 to 2 free mini classes per week here. We have started this since the pandemic hit. So it's called the Quarantine Series. And to see a full list of mini classes that I've been doing, you can hit the playlist. I also do a Monday night show called Ask Ivy, where I take your personal questions. So if you need psychic advice, you want to hear from a deceased loved one about your spiritual development, whatever it is, you can also join me for that. And I did start a new series here on YouTube called Short Stories that you guys can check out. These are sort of longer clips and explanations based mostly on my TikToks that I do that only give me a minute to talk. So you guys can check those out. And we have Roots Revival Interfaith Sunday service here also up on YouTube. So if that interests you, subscribe. If you want to become a member, hit the join button. We do appreciate donations from you guys. And I want to invite you guys to start posting your questions or comments. Paul, my adorable producer, will be taking them throughout tonight's class. And if they don't fit in with what I'm talking about, he'll just post them. He'll save them until the end. Okay. I do try to get to everybody. How are you, Paul?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm good.
Right.
All right. So welcome, everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino Airwalk, and I own a school called the Ivy League Psychic Academy, where I train people internationally online in everything ranging from psychic mediumship development to tarot, astrology, numerology, Reiki, paranormal work, children as well as adults, you name it, we do it. So we hope to see you here for classes. What you've caught tonight is one of my free mini classes, part of the quarantine series. And tonight we are talking about daily discernment. These are the 6 key things that I see my clients, my student, myself make in error. These are the things that we overlook every day. These are the, I want to say, most common areas that we miss our discernment in and cost us the most. So it seems very small, but these are not very small in the general outcome of things. These are the areas that hold up our productivity, cost us in health, and deteriorate our opportunities and relationships. So we're going to take a look at all 6, going from the least to the most intense here. And I do want to talk about one thing before we start, and that is your awareness. Okay, so in daily discernment, as you're going about your life every single day, super busy, reactionary a lot of the time, for some of you, the majority of the time, how mindful are you being about the choices that you're making? Are you stopping to check and see whether or not you're coming from a place of intuition? If you feel it in your gut, if it's something you feel you're supposed to do, or are you just going by your emotions? You're just like a robot, or you're like a zombie. You just always go by your logic. Are you paying attention to these things? Right. So it's also about speed. I find that it's really, really easy to say, okay, I know what I have to do today, and just plow on through it like a freight train, 180 miles an hour. And it's important that whether you feel you know what you're supposed to be doing for the day or not, you're still being mindful. You're still being centered, rooted, grounded, okay? Asking in your presence whether or not this is something you should be focusing on or doing. So this week, I had the members on YouTube take a look at mindfulness for themselves and for others. And their little homework assignment, their tip of the week, their psychic challenge was to observe when they're out in public, other people. And to just look at someone else's energy and to say, does it seem as though that person is being mindful? Is that person present? Does that person seem to really be engaging in what they're doing? Or do they seem out of control and scattered and kind of frantic? And like they really have no clue what's going on right now. They're detached. And they were supposed to journal about that and just how it looked, what they felt, what's their best guess. And I think this is a great homework assignment for you guys to do as well. Okay, so take this week to do that. Look at people and stop and also look at yourself over the course of the day a few times and ask, am I being present and mindful, or am I just sort of out of control and reactionary, going with the flow of things? All right, so let's start. Daily discernment. What are the 6 key areas I see people overlook their discernment and make the biggest mistakes every day? Start with number 6. Don't push a pole door. This is about people who go up to a situation, a relationship, an opportunity, something they think is theirs, something they think should be theirs. And they try so hard to make it work. They try to take it and make it their own. And it simply does not work. If you are hustling, if you feel like it's pulling teeth, if you have tried everything And whatever it is that you're spending your time and attention on is not fulfilling for you. It doesn't give you a sense of inner joy or peace. It doesn't progress and lead into greater things. Then you may be pushing on a pole door. You may be working at something that you have no business touching whatsoever. Now, the majority of people I see doing this were told by their parents that they should. They were told by their educators that they should. They were told by the mental health field that they ought to feel this way or think this way. Or societal standards brainwash them, program them into thinking they were supposed to fit into a certain category or do a very specific thing. And it just isn't working. So we need to be careful that all the effort we're putting into somebody or something is for us. If it is not for you, the universe is going to work against you. Okay. Not to say that the universe is like watching and plotting and deliberately torturing you with this. It's more like you're either in the flow and you can receive benefit and support from the universe, or you're out of the flow and you're going against the wind. And you don't get any of the benefits of manifestation, of prayer, of law of attraction. You're just out there on your own, okay, in the daily grind. And you want to make sure that this is a feeling of inner confidence in your bones, in your gut, in your intuition, that this is where you belong. Because often the things that we're trying to accomplish are difficult and are for us. So we don't want to necessarily say, okay, everything that's difficult is not for me. I'm going to just go with my bliss. I'm just going to go with the flow, and it's either going to work or it isn't. No. The things that are worthwhile are often the most difficult, time-consuming things. They require dedication, longevity, okay, character building, integrity. But there is a huge difference between beating your head up against a wall and receiving no benefit and feeling nothing in your spirit and working really hard at something that you know you are destined to do. So you have to check, okay? Huge difference between those things. All right, let's talk about number 5. Don't be the last one to leave the party. So everything in your life that you're supposed to be engaging in is in a contract. It's in your life contract. You signed on to this before you came to Earth. Your guides were there. Your ancestors are there. The universe supports you only in that contract. So when you're doing something that you were supposed to do, a job, a project, maybe you picked up a hobby, maybe you're doing something in the healing arts, or maybe it's a relationship that you've gotten involved in, travel, you're looking at a relocation. When you're doing something that is within your life contract, you have support by the universe to do so only as long as it's scheduled. Everything has a deadline on it. So if you have surpassed that deadline, that relationship goes sour. Those opportunities start to dry up. That home that you used to love has a creepy or empty feeling to it now, whatever it is. Things will come to an end. Everything will come to an end. That's so that a new beginning can come in. Every time a door closes, another door opens. So it's really important that you understand that you shouldn't hold on and clutch to things that have, had their ride. Their time is up. The contract is complete. We have to accept that that's okay. So don't be the last one to leave the party. Or people need to ask, where's my moral compass? Okay. And how can I get into good trouble? I think of John Lewis, right? Good trouble. Get into good trouble. Where is your moral compass? What has happened? Not that I think we ever had our heads on straight, especially here in America. It's built on native burial ground and battles and bloodshed, and was destined to get to the place where we are. But I'm talking internationally. This is for everybody, okay? Where has that ability gone? Why have we deteriorated to this extent? We are at a pivotal point. Why have we gotten so far away from mindfulness and decency and kindness? Where is your ethical code of conduct? Where is your moral compass? Check this throughout the day and ask yourself, if the company that you're supporting, if the boss that you're supporting, if the decisions that you're making with your money, if the companies that you buy from, your personal daily choices, ask if they're feeding the greater good or not. Slow down and examine where you contribute. And in regards to getting in good trouble, what has happened to people standing up to bullies? What has happened to people fighting for the right cause? Now, again, not to say we ever had it right. Okay. I've known from the minute I was born, this was a toxic scene here again, especially in America. We know this, but I do believe there has been a significant deterioration in our willingness to stand up for what's right. Now we're finally starting to see a turnaround, but you need to make sure as an individual, you're contributing to that turnaround every single day. If you have not spoken up in the past for what is right, you need to do so at this time. It is a now or never opportunity. Everyone is being tested right now. Okay, so how can you get into some good trouble? I think of Floyd and the little girl who was there, who stood up. You know, we saw more moral integrity and guts from a 9-year-old little girl standing up in court and against the police than we did from the other officers that were there, you know, who had all the power and fed the problem. Which side are you on? What are you going to do about this? Okay, it is time. So where is my moral compass? Too many people overlooking this every day, all day. Number 3, are you coming from a place of reaction or are you coming from a place of intuition? Now, I want to recommend a couple classes to you guys that I did in previous mini classes here for the quarantine series. Go to the playlist here on YouTube at Ask Ivy. I am suggesting to figure out whether you're coming from your intuition or you're being reactionary, watch a class called Emotion versus Intuition. Paul will put this in the comments. Watch another one called Logic versus Intuition. Okay. And watch another one called Divine Timing, When to Make a Move. So what we unfortunately do is we take on tasks, we make decisions, we focus on thoughts, we get ourselves invested and entangled in decisions that are based on our logic or our emotion. And that really is reactionary in my book. You want to make sure that your decisions also match your intuition. And we see frequently that your logic will match your intuition, but it's pretty darn rare that your emotion is going to match your intuition. Okay, so that could be a huge red flag that you're going in the wrong direction. Now, one of the really important things I have noticed just even this week, preparing for this class and the curriculum Spirit wanted me to touch on, was that I do the same thing even when I'm positive I'm not. I have a tendency to ask Spirit what I'm supposed to pay attention to for the day. With my morning coffee, my 10 to 20 minutes, I always say to you guys, 10 to 20 minutes with your guides every morning, absolute necessity. So I say to my guides, what am I supposed to do today? And then I'm like a freight train. I'm like a wild horse. You know, it's like the gun's gone off. I get to work. My coffee kicks in. And I don't really stop to always ask, okay, yes, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but should this be tweaked? Should I be holding back a little bit? Should I rearrange the timing? Should I be shifting any priorities? I just go. And that has turned into a couple interesting experiences this week where Spirit called me out on it and they said, you're doing it too. You still do it. One experience I had, I lifted up my blankets in my bed and there was a fortune cookie in a fortune cookie message, not the whole cookie. I don't leave valuables like that behind. Those don't last long around me. It was the fortune cookie message in my bed. And I thought, this is an odd message too. It's odd to be in the bed. But the message was even stranger. It said, make sure you are following your gut instinct in all decisions. And I was like, whoa. Okay, so here we are. We think we're going in the right direction because we are technically. But it's not that simple. If we stop being mindful, we move too quickly, we miss things. And Spirit's way of handling me personally is always to like make me get sick or have some kind of technical meltdown. All the computer systems will shut down. I am somehow halted from doing what I thought I was supposed to do, and it's just rearranged a little bit. Okay, so we could just do this on our own, all right? So try to be more mindful and come from your intuition, not reaction. Don't get overly confident and leave God behind, okay? Number 2, avoid that text. As we lead up to the number 1 most major mistake I see people make in their discernment every day, this is right up there with it. Avoid that text. What do I mean by that? People are going to reach out to you all the time. They may reach out to you with an opportunity. They may reach out to you with a temptation. They may reach out to you for help. They may just want to interact. We have to remember that if our gut says that we shouldn't give them time, that we shouldn't give that thing attention, that we shouldn't interact, there is a bigger reason for that. And in time, you're going to find out what it is. We have to learn to pull back. We have to learn to understand that all that glitters is not gold, that every opportunity that presents itself to us is not necessarily ours. We have to learn to stay in our lane. That's another free mini class up here. Paul, put that in the comments. Stay in your lane, but also don't allow for things like guilt, obligation, blood is thicker than water concepts. Overrule your gut. If you are supposed to pull back and not interact, do it. There's a reason for that. And number 1, running at the mouth. How many people talk, never slow down to process anything, talk, never slow down to pay attention to the audience and whether or not they're receiving or connecting, talk, overshare on social media, not thinking about whether or not what they shared was meant for them, or they were supposed to be meditating on that thing for a while longer. How much purging are we doing? How much are we talking at the world and others around us instead of engaging with others and the world around us? So the biggest mistake, number 1, biggest mistake I see people make in their daily discernment is with their mouth, running at the mouth. You have the biggest challenge of your entire life right there in that area. That tongue is it. And yes, it's easier said than done, but we need to be more mindful in using discernment before we speak and in those moments of reaction. This is the most powerful tool that you have. Treat it as though it is. Okay, do we have questions or comments coming in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's one from Tool Bags. TikTok is, how do I know which flow I should be going?
Well, that's what the classes are going to teach you, because I don't have time to talk about all of that here today. So I designed other free mini classes to teach you specifically in those moments how to differentiate. What direction should you be going in? Exactly. You're going to have to watch the classes and start utilizing the exercises. It's going to require some habit forming. you have to take those techniques and apply them to your life and push out the bad habits that you've had. So soon you're going to learn the difference between your intuition and your emotion, your intuition and your logic. And once you get the hang of it, it becomes very quick. It's like a tick. It's like a thought, or it's just like an inkling. You will automatically know what is yes and what is no. And the challenge then becomes moving forward with that. Knowing it and not negating it. Knowing it and not getting double-minded. Knowing it and actually putting it into action so that the universe can start working with you. Okay, and giving you good karma and the benefits that you deserve for doing the right thing. You want to get in the flow. But first you have to get educated. So check out those other classes. Mm-hmm.
I like the phrasing of this one a lot. Alex says, my whole life has been about knowing discernment. It's exhausting knowing the truth sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I love that Alex's point on how exhausting it can be knowing the truth. It's sort of like saying intuition is a blessing and a curse at the same time. And we all have intuition. Why do so many of us choose to ignore our intuition? Often it's because it doesn't meet societal standards, or what we're supposed to do would be viewed as being a failure, the lesser of the two options, or people around us don't support it. So everyone around you says that you're wrong, that you're judging someone or a situation incorrectly. And it becomes a very isolating feeling, you know, like you're kind of on an island and you live within your own little world. You're on your own planet. And really, we should all be connecting with that energy. Truth is truth, and energy never lies. And no one around you has to agree with it. Mm-hmm.
This one is from Misbehaving Again, Chanel.
Okay.
She says, I'm a healer and empath. I'm a massage therapist. And since I caught COVID a year ago, my intuition is misdirected. And I'm terrified that my energy will never be clean enough. I don't care. I only feel empty.
Okay. One of the things that I would suggest for you is my psychic mediumship course, where I break this down for all of the students in different areas of their life, because we all get there. And it's often part of your Kundalini, your awakening, your next level up, is that you have to kill off that ego. You have to remember that you're thinking from a place of ego, which is about fear. It's about control. It's about needing something to be more than what it is, or having higher standards, right? And it's okay where you are. We want to work with that. You could even compare it to like the dark night of the soul. Okay, it's not that bad, but you're definitely having to take that negative energy and you want to, through alchemy, convert it into positive energy that you can use for your own self-healing, and then ultimately, because you're a healer, out to others. So how to do that? It may be time for you to learn the language, okay? Learn the language of empathic ability, mediumistic ability, psychic ability. This will make you a better healer in every way anyhow. I think it's time for you to level up. And I think this was an opportunity, terrible as COVID is, and I'm so glad you're with us. But, you know, it is an opportunity. Everything is. COVID's no exception. And I think that you would have sort of stayed where you were forever if you were allowed to. And this just shoved you into the future. And that feeling of being disconnected is coming from a misunderstanding of how the energy in the universe actually operates, and how spirit actually works, and how really connected you are. And you don't have to try that hard. So you seem to be confused about the way, you know, you can more easily connect. And so I would recommend that you join us. Yeah.
Jill has a good point here, which she says, I noticed when I'm being reactionary, I feel anxious and like I'm hypersensitive. It's finally a red flag I can see and stop ASAP.
So that's a great example that Jill brings up here. And it goes along with the saying that when we're living in the past, when we're thinking in the past, our attention is going to the past. We feel depressive and heavy and just kind of bogged down and hopeless. When we are in the present, we feel positive and as though we are capable of handling what's going on and at peace and centered. And when we're in the future, we feel anxious and needy and controlling. And so that's a great point. One of the easy ways for you guys to check yourself and to say, maybe I stopped being mindful, is in that feeling that she mentions of anxiety, nervousness, going too fast, going too fast. Sometimes it's your coffee, sometimes it's you, and you need to get back, get center. That's a great point, Jill. Love that. Mm-hmm.
As for going fast, we have one from Bernadette.
Okay.
It says, when people want too much from me, I do that wild pony thing. I keep hitting the send button before I'm done writing.
When people want too much?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that is almost like an addiction for those of us that have a lot of healing ability. We tend to give without even thinking about it. And for those of us that are natural born teachers or leaders, we can excessively overgive and not have a clear sense of boundaries. We don't understand even if there is a lane, much less how to stay in it. We just give, teach. And it's important to stop and slow down and say, was I even supposed to offer that? Is that mine to offer? It's not only a good opportunity to look at how you might be out of bounds in how much you're giving or what you're giving, but also whether or not it's actually good for the person you're giving it to. Is it enabling them? Is it keeping them stuck? Is it feeding their ego or giving them more of what they want and they shouldn't? We have to be careful that when we're interacting with other people, we're coming from a place of their highest and best good also. And sometimes when we are kind of anxiously giving or like that wild horse, it's the polar opposite, even though it doesn't look that way.
There's one from Tyla.
Okay.
How do I tell the difference between my anxiety and intuition?
Do we have one on that? I think in emotion. Go back to the mini class that I mentioned, emotion versus intuition. I talk about it there. I also talk about it in depth in a 2-hour training called Empathic Awareness. In Empathic Awareness, Paul could put that in the comments. You guys would learn the difference between anxiety and your intuition and how to tune out when you're accidentally absorbing other people's energy and it's making you anxious, when you're accidentally absorbing energy from objects or atmospheres or spirits and it's making you anxious, or when it's actually your own. And the first key to everything in life is understanding what is mine, what is others. We are spiritual, energetic beings having a human experience. So we are susceptible to absorbing everything from everywhere and everyone. We have to stop that first. Until you do that, it's going to be really hard for you to detect. Okay, so start there. Okay. Well, we are at time. Thanks, everybody. Anyone who left a donation, anyone who wants to become a member, you can hit that join button. And please do give this video a thumbs up. Thanks also for you guys on TikTok for your donations. Our next free mini class is next Wednesday, and we are talking about what?
Next Wednesday is Why Am I Suffering?
Why am I suffering? I'm going to break down some of the key reasons that I see with my students, my clients, that they stay in a state of suffering long beyond what they should, or stagnancy. And if you can't figure out why you maybe feel detached from spirit, or things in your life just aren't moving forward, or you can't achieve a certain level of prosperity or health and well-being, relationships are also deteriorating. Why are you suffering, or even in a state of grief or mourning? We're going to plow on through that and give you some tools that'll work great for you. Don't forget to get your walk-in night tickets. They are on sale now. For this month's Psychic Fair, 100% virtual online. That's going to be Saturday. For $15, you get 2 readings or a reading and a healing. So check it out. Go to ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com to get your tickets now. Thanks, Polly. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.